Have you ever watched your cat slowly drag their claws down your couch, and instead of stopping them, you just smiled and called them a little monster? And if someone asked you why you didn't do anything, you honestly wouldn't have a real answer? Most people think it's just because they love their cat so much they can't stay mad, but the real reason goes much deeper than that. And it has nothing to do with how patient you are. It has everything to do with what you've been quietly looking for in a relationship for a very long time. So let's talk about what's actually going on. The first thing to understand is that your brain is literally wired to find destruction cute when it comes from something you love. Scientists actually studied this. When you feel so much love or joy that your brain can't handle it all at once, it does something funny. It fires the opposite reaction too. So when your cat tears up your rug and you feel that warm, almost amused feeling instead of frustration, that's not you being a pushover. That's your brain overflowing with love. The feeling was already so big that it had nowhere else to go. What looks like you excusing bad behavior is actually your heart being too full to be upset. And here's something else that's going on. Once you really love your cat, your brain quietly puts them in a special category. A category where the normal rules don't fully apply. Researchers have actually tested this. They showed cat owners videos of their own pets doing something annoying, and then showed them the exact same behaviour from a stranger's cat. The owners rated their own cat's behaviour as way less bothersome, even though it was identical. The behaviour didn't change, the bond did. When you decide, somewhere deep down, that a relationship is important to you, your brain starts protecting it. It softens the bad parts automatically. And that's not weakness. That's your heart doing its job. Now here's the one that might surprise you the most. Think about your home for a second. Your cat has a spot on the couch. You probably leave it open for them. There might be a chair they claimed, a corner of the bed that's just theirs, a window seat you wouldn't dream of taking from them. And at some point, without any conversation, you just started rearranging yourself around them. Researchers looked into this and found something really interesting. The owners who gave their cats the most freedom in the home weren't the most laid-back people. They were actually the people who most needed a relationship that felt completely safe with no conditions attached. Giving the cat every corner, every cushion, every sunny spot wasn't about being a pushover. It was their way of building something they maybe never had before. A relationship with no fine print. One where the love didn't come with limits. And it gets even more personal than that. There's a specific kind of joy you feel when your cat does something bold and unapologetic. They knock something off a table and just walk away. They sit in the exact spot you told them not to. They do it with zero guilt, zero apology, zero worrying about what you think. And somewhere inside you, you feel something that honestly looks a lot like admiration. Here's why. Most of us spend a huge amount of energy worrying about taking up too much space, being too much, apologizing for things we don't need to apologize for, and then your cat just doesn't. They exist without asking permission, and because you love them so deeply, watching them do that gives your brain a tiny taste of that same freedom. The freedom you've been quietly denying yourself. When your cat walks away from something without a second thought, a part of you is genuinely cheering them on. Not because it's funny, but because they're doing the thing you forgot you were allowed to do. And now we've reached the one that's going to feel the most personal. There have probably been moments where you genuinely wanted to stop your cat from destroying something. You thought to yourself, okay, this time I'm actually going to redirect them. And then something stopped you. A small, quiet voice that said, don't ruin this. And you let it go. Again, not because you didn't know better, but because something in you couldn't bring yourself to push back, even against a cat. Researchers who study relationships found that people who have been through real loss, real heartbreak, real moments where they gave love and it didn't work out, those people are much less likely to set limits with the ones they love most. Not because they're too easy on them, but because somewhere underneath it all, they're afraid. Afraid that if they push back, something in the relationship will shift. That saying no, even gently, even once, will somehow make the love smaller. So they let the furniture go. They let the couch go. They let it all go. Because this is the one relationship where they decided they were never going to be the reason the bond broke. You didn't let your cat destroy your furniture because you have no limits. You let your cat destroy your furniture because love stopped feeling safe at some point, and this was how you quietly chose to build it back. And that is not something to be embarrassed about. That is someone who knew real loss and decided to do something beautiful with it. Carl Jung once said, "Until you make what's unconscious conscious, it will run your life and you'll just call it fate." You didn't just find a cat. You found a relationship that asked nothing from you except to show up, and you discovered you were capable of giving that all along. That is not a small thing. That is everything.